Picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Welcome back, everybody, to week two on the Enterprise D build. This should look very familiar to you. I know it does to me. I see it in my sleep. This is the saucer to the Enterprise D, and I'm taking steps forward and steps back at the same time, if that makes any sense to y'all. This is my own Enterprise D. I worked on fills out in California, and I'm getting flashbacks to that now. What we're doing is we're filling windows, and when I had done Phil's windows were filled. Yes, by definition they were filled because he did them. These will be lewd, not lewd as in lewd and lascivious, but they will be lewd. I'm just doing a little bit of sanding. But what I'm going to do is I am going to be filling these in with the frozen light curing putty. Now you'll remember from the first stage that I worked on the secondary hull, the battle bridge area, the neck and all of that. I used the Fun Recall light curing putty. That's the Fun Recall putty. And this is very good, but it's not what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the frozen light curing putty. Different brand, same basic idea. It's a putty that you trowel in the windows, and it acts like a bandage, to quote the good doctor. No, you basically put it in the hole, you hit it with a light, and it makes a window. But the consistency on this is so much better for doing these long windows. This has a consistency like Vaseline. That's the best example I could say. This one has a Vaseline look to it, where the Fun Recall has more of an actual putty. There's the difference. And this is fine. This is fine for more irregularly shaped things. It's also got a little bit more of a stink to it. But this is what I'm using, and this is so much easier to work with on these long windows. I've already got the back half of the saucer done, and it takes next to no time. I'm not going to show you everything. I'm not going to bore you with the whole procedure, but I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do some of this. Basically, I've loaded some up on a chisel blade X-Acto knife, and you just run it across. Run it across like this, scrape it to get the excess off of the area around it. And you can do a few of these at a time. And what this doesn't do that the Fun Recall stuff did is that when I would scrape back over top of it like this, the Fun Recall would pull back out of the holes. It wouldn't lay there and do what I told it to do. And again, just like you learn on the home improvement shows, when you're grouting tile, you run it 45 degrees to the grout line, and that way you don't pull your grout back off. Now, I would do more windows than this at a time, but I just want to show you what you do after that. So you run the light over top of it, and now it does leave a slight film on the top of the hull where you have your excess. It sticks nicely into the window holes, and I'm just running this over with a light for about 15-20 seconds. Make sure it's good and cured, and then I have found I clean this blade off. You want to keep that nice and clean, and you also want to keep the lid on your can when you have that UV torch out. But I find that if I need to, anything that has where I have slopped out over top of the windows, I can scrape off just by going in a nice diagonal pattern over the top. And then once this is all set up, I will do a good, overall sanding, and that gets rid of the rest of it. See, now those windows are done and we're ready to move on. But I do them at a bigger chunk at a time, so I'm probably going to do the rest of these before I cure up again, and then we'll start doing these along the bottom. Now, one thing I'm doing differently than Phil is I'm not putting any backing. He recommends, running some clear tape around the back of these, and these are the ones I just did. But I'm not putting so much down that it's gushing out the bottom of these holes. I am turning this over and hitting it with the UV, just belt and suspenders, so that I can be sure that the bottom side of this resin is also been cured. You take for granted that it's curing when you cure the top of it, but it might not cure the whole way through. Notice, take 2 seconds, do the bottom, like I say, belt and suspenders. But now those windows are ready to go, and I'm ready to go on to the next one. And this is one of those things that the longer you do it, the more proficient you become at it. It takes me a while in the morning to kind of get back up to speed at it, but next thing you know, Jed's a millionaire. Now the next thing you know, I'm laying this stuff down, and it's good to go. And I am not being shy with the amount that I'm using, particularly on these really long windows. A little scrapey, and then we're off to the next one. And 2 of these at a time. Scrape off around them. Another one there, scrape off around it. These 4 here. Should have loaded up more. There you go. Scrape off around it. And let's see, these 3 down here. Another one there. As long as this blade is nice and clean, and I clean it off every once in a while, then it'll keep going just fine. I'll do these ones, that one, that one. Don't be shy on the amount that you're using. That's why I bought it. I bought 2 cans just to be sure. I know I'll use this on other projects, so I wanted to make sure I had at least enough to do this job. Okay. I will, for the sake of the camera, go ahead and do these. And these rounded ones up here are going to be a trick. I will put tape on those like I did the bridge ones here. I put tape on the outside of the kit and put the putty in from the inside and really jammed it in there to make sure the void was full. That was the easiest way I had to, plus it's a little bit cleaner that way. It keeps the scrapings off the contour of that bridge. Okay, these are nice and cured. And I'm going to be continuing on this way until I get the top of the saucer finished. Alrighty, I've got another quadrant of the saucer done. Now I'm going to break my own rule here just for these big windows up front, because there's so many and they're so close together. I am going to back tape those. I'm going to put some Scotch tape behind these. I'm just using a little bit of alcohol here to clean off the residue. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some Scotch tape from behind, and that will keep it from sucking up too much of the jelly, because it'll stop it from going all the way through and falling on the inside. like I said, I'm not using that everywhere, just where there's so many of these windows. I'm just doing a light scraping of the excess, and I'm hoping to get away with this is a 600 grit sanding sponge just to go around the windows. And let me throw some, that cleans it up a little bit more. Let me throw some tape on the back side. We're coming up close to the end of the day, and I've got the top of the saucer. I've got all the windows taken care of. That I think I'm going to have time to do the bottom ones. Maybe not these guys today, but I can do the bottom ones for sure. So let's get started on those. Same basic technique, same procedure. I'm just gonna start here in the center, I guess. Work my way around. Nice thing about it is it's kind of a trade-off, because while the bottom of the saucer doesn't have nearly the number of windows that the top of the saucer does, the bottom of the saucer is going to have a ton more lifeboats than the top of the saucer will. So when it comes time to line up all those decals, that's where we're going to have a little bit more fun. That's where it's going to balance out, I think. But yeah, just having two rows here is actually quite nice. And we're just popping around here. Now these larger windows, particularly in here, and this deflector, secondary or saucer deflector array, that even though it looks like a window, is not a window. It's going to get lit like a window, because most people think it's a window, and it's treated in the series. It's treated like a window on the model. It's lit up like the rest, so I will be lighting it up like the rest. It's weird though, because it's got like a inside window ledge. I don't know exactly which plane, if that's the right term, that I should be masking. So I'll just put some tape on it from the outside, I think, and fill it from the inside. It's going to be tough. You know, I might even do those with the liquid, not the not this gel nor the putty, but I think I might do that with the liquid Solares, because I can put a piece of clear tape from it on one side and then fill the other side with the liquid and hit it with the light that way, and I think it'll be, since it's a lot bigger, it'll be a lot clearer than this gel or the putty can make it. But you can see this is going pretty quickly. I'm already, got about 6 inches of it done. So this shouldn't be any great chore to finish this afternoon. And then perhaps we will start masking them tomorrow. Looking forward to doing that again. Spent a day, not a solid day, and spent a day at Phil's doing just the top of his saucer. But, there was a lot of gabbing going on too, so it wasn't like it was head down over top of the work concentrating. Okay, let me hit this with a light and we'll go on to the next batch. Everybody, it's Wednesday. You might say, what happened to Tuesday? And I'm right there with you. I don't know what happened to Tuesday exactly. Did a lot of work on the decals, a lot of computer work, not very exciting to look at. But I think we've got that well and truly under control. But today I wanted to see something that gave me some fun results. and I'm working on it. The instructions that come with the lighting kit are next to non-existent. That's just how it is. So a lot of it's, trying to figure out how these things work, and I'm on the phone with Phil trying to figure out what he did, trying to remember what I saw when I was there. And it comes down to small successes, and at this point any success is in the W column, and we're going to be happy with that. So here's what I've got so far. I can't get the touch switches to work, but here's what I've gotten so far. I've got power run to the board. I've got a speaker hooked up. Now, this is not going to be my permanent solution. I'm going to go buy some powered speakers, computer speakers that I can plug in here, because that will give me a much better sound. But when we touch the buttons together, touch the wiring together, we get, if you heard that, I will start again because I don't know whether that was an off or an on. I have no lights. Well, that's not true. I have some lights hooked up to this. So we have power. We use the on off. We turn the board on. And now if I use the wires that get me, let me see if I'm in camera. And you'll want to see this. It doesn't make a lot of sense exactly, but this is the top phaser array. And it's quite a loud sound that will be in the bass. And if you're noticing, it is doing, I'm going to try to get this, imagine this big strip will be buried in this is the top phaser array. So that's the top, this circle here is the top phaser array. And when we do this, it does act like it's supposed to, and it, I'm going to turn this speaker over, maybe mute it a little bit. It does not go to the same place twice. Trying to get one on camera here. There you go. Right there on camera. So that is working. That's a working, handy, wonderful, lovely thing. Birds sing, children play in the streets, life is good. Now I just need to make it work when I hit a button, when I hit the appropriate button. So that's kind of where I'm at right now before we get too involved with everything else. Now I will, again, I've got no lights hooked up to this, but I will show you, or at least you can hear, that the same holds true for these buttons when I hit the torpedo. So first you get the button press sound, and then you get the effect. And I'm presuming in the real world this will go out and light up the torpedo at the same time. And let me do another one. This gets to be like potato chips after a while. It gets quite addictive. If I plug another switch in to this board and touch the wires, I get the warp effect. Okay, now there are other torpedoes and other phasers, and the last one is the themed startup. Now, the themed startup has the theme from the television series on it, so I'm not going to run too many seconds of it, or else I might get a copyright problem. But you push the button and oh, something's wrong. Oh, I bet you I know why. I bet you I know why. I probably have to turn this one off. I probably have to turn the initial on-off back off. So that's off, and theme startup is, there you go. And it starts in on the, I'm not going to run too many seconds of it. I might talk over top of it to keep the algorithm from noticing that it's copywritten material. Let's see, I have to start that again because I touched them together. Oops. Now see, that's what happens when I've got the wrong wires. This need to be more careful when you've got too many wires. And there we go again. Now unfortunately it has to start from the beginning again. So and I'm assuming that while this is happening that the lights are coming on in various places and formations, and we'll go from there. It is alive. We have success. I got some intel from Phil about the correct way to wire these buttons up, and everything is both hunky and dory. And I will show you that we have, I have the torpedo. This is the bow torpedo. So this is the front torpedo. Oops. What happens is you cannot leave these switches. You cannot leave these switches too close to each other. Okay, stop. We've got that one. Okay, stop. Okay, the switches. Oh sure, I turned the camera on and everything goes to hell. The switches need to be somewhat separated from each other. They can read where each other one is, and they can interfere with each other. So that's why I'm being very careful. This is the that's the theme start, I believe. No, that's just the regular start. Okay, I don't know what that one was. That's the bottom warp, or the bottom phaser we don't have attached yet. That's the top phaser. That's the top phaser. I don't know which one that is. Oh, that's the, that one is the on-off. Oh, we need that one. Okay. Yeah, that's the bow torpedo here. So if we, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. They're all going nuts because they're too close to each other. Can you see, you're seeing that bulb? That's the forward torpedo. I will attach a fiber optic to that so that it will come out of that little spot in the neck. But that is, and all of these buttons, I will unplug this now so that it doesn't continue to go amiss. All of these buttons that you see here will be hidden behind an LCARS panel. That's these switches here. And they will all be attached to the back side of a piece of plexiglass. And the LCARS panel will be on the top of that. We've already verified that the thickness of the plexiglass doesn't seem to matter, and that we can touch the top of the plexiglass above where this button will be, and it will trigger the effect. So this is a happy and a good and a yay, and I am relieved that this is all working so well. I think before I settle down and kind of put all this away for the time being, I want to go ahead and attach the second phaser strip to it, just so that I can see that both of them are working. Alrighty, the brains have been finished. We have that is the bottom phaser set. Come on. I'm going to do this until it shows up on camera. This is the bottom phaser set. This is the top phaser set. So we've got both of those running. We've got is that the I think that's the tail torpedo. Yeah. That's the warp effect. Okay. Yeah. I bumped the back of one. I needed to. There we go. That's the torpedo. And I think that's just the on-off. And which one of these is the theme? Theme goes... Nope. That's the warp. Torpedo. Okay. I'm going to find this theme. I know it's here. There it is. It just takes a while for it to kick in. That's what takes so long. Okay, time to start masking the windows. Now, I did get a bit of good news in the mail today saying that, or email, saying that my power source for my new tools is not going to be another week and a half away. It's going to be here tomorrow. So that's Amazon for you. But what I'm doing here is I'm doing some final cleanup here on the slopped over putty, and it's coming off nice with a chisel blade, and I'll do some sanding around these windows. What I'd like to do is put the masking down on here because you see how flat this is laying on the table? This is beautifully flat. It's a wonderful, glorious thing. However, as soon as I start putting lighting into this, I'm no longer going to be able to lay it this way. You see, I'm going to have to put marker lights here and up here at the front. I'm going to have to put those marker lights in. I'm going to have to install other things. And once that happens, I won't be able to lay it flat because the bulb will stick up from here and I'll have to have wiring running everywhere. I've also got some new or additional of the real thin magnet wire, the stranded wire that I get from Evans. I've got a new order of that coming in, and once I get that along with the shrink tubing that I've ordered, I can really get started on the laying out the lighting. But once I start doing that, the ability to lay this flat on the table disappears. So I'm going to take advantage of this while I can. And there's one last thing. I need to cut this out. I need to cut this channel out. Before I did that, though, I wanted to make sure that the bottom phaser strip lighting was going to work, and it does. Yay. So now I can cut this out and pack that channel with the Fun Recall putty and make a light channel make a like a U channel that's going to go over top of this from the inside. You see, if I do something, I'm going to make it larger here out of sponges so you can see. Basically, it's going to be this and this with a top on it. See, I have to make a U channel like that all the way around this phaser strip to confine the lighting to keep it from bleeding out to the rest of the effect lighting. So that's also, once that's in, it's also going to restrain how I can be displaying this or how I can be laying the saucer while I'm working on it. So let me get the clean up these windows, sanding that a little bit more. There's still some roughness here around these windows, and then I can start laying the masks down. Morning, everybody. It is Thursday. It is the gateway to the weekend. How you doing? Progress is slow but continuing on the Enterprise D build. It may sound like I'm spending a heck of a long time on the decals. Truth be told, yes, I am spending a heck of a long time on the decals. I want them to be right. I have learned from the interwebs that there may be other people interested in these decals. Yeah, it may be more than just me and Phil using them, so we want them to be right. What I have done is I've taken artwork that I'm going to drop a name here, that I've taken some artwork that I've gotten from Rick Sternbach, creator of great many things in Star Trek, and also the creator of the original Star Trek blueprint, or the Galaxy class blueprints. So the man knows a thing or two. He has sent me some artwork for the registries and for the lifeboats and such. I've drawn my own lifeboats based on his artwork. I have redrawn the transporter emitters based on his artwork. And what I've done is he also provided me a illustration that I was asked not to share, so I am not sharing it. It was an illustration of basically the whole line art of the ship that had been revised slightly since the original blueprint set came out. And I've been using that. I blew it up basically to the size of this kit. It took many sheets of paper to print it out. But what I've done with that is that I'm using it to help me lay out the grid lines that I'm going to need to lay out on this, but also to give me the correct proportion that the decal should be, the correct sizing for them. And a lot of folks will recognize this as the top of the nacelle, but there's a tendency to make this part of it, this decal, bigger than it should be. It should come to about this area here, and it should trail off before you get to these indents. So I'm using all of this intel together for one glorious purpose, and that is to scale the decals to the appropriate size. And this is what you're getting. I've got the lifeboats, these are the transporter emitters. The lifeboats are on a completely different sheet, but I'm getting them to the right size so that I can be done, send them off to Keith. Keith is over at Cosmic Scale Models, has offered to produce the decal sheets for us. I'm going to recommend to Keith that he hang on to that file, because I think he'll be able to, I'm not speaking for him, but I think he'll be able to find a market for those decals. Once I've got everything sized correctly to this particular model. This particular model has differences from the actual, or from the illustration that I got from Rick, as far as where the windows are and how they're grouped and how far away they are from different things. These windows are darn good approximation, but they're not exact, so be aware of that. It's like they're slightly elongated out from the center. They're not quite as accurate as they could be. Now And the police are coming to take me away because I mentioned Rick's name. I'm sorry. But these will go something like this. There's a set of those that go there, and another set that goes there, and those will be decals. Now the important thing that Keith knew that I can't do on my decal sheet is that Keith can back his decal. He can print decals that are backed in white. I cannot do that on my laser printer. So what that's going to allow us to do is to skip a step. We're not going to have to paint a white shape behind where this decal is going to go. The decal is going to have, just like every other decal you see in the world, it's going to have white backing behind it, so we don't have to prepare it otherwise. Even the lettering, now you can see it, you may not see it here. There is a light blue there, or a cyan blue. That is my code to Keith to make that white. We're going to substitute that out for white since it's impossible to simulate white on a white sheet. So yes, you will have that white strip between the between the number and the red pinstripe. There will be white space, just as it should be. And that's going to go there. Enterprise is going to go above it, right about there. So we're going to have a good and a happy and a yay. So the last thing that's going to be done today, I'm waiting for the mail to come because hopefully it will have my power source and I can finally cut this phaser ring out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little bit out of it at a time, fill it in with the fun recall, the thicker putty, not the paste from Frozen. I'm going to use the thicker stuff because it'll form up quicker and easier. But I'm going to do that, cut these out. Then I can start drilling holes, which is another reason why I needed to get this new tool to come in, because it's a slow speed, variable speed drill attachment. Then I can drill my holes for my formation lights and all of those. So I wanted to get these decals done and out of the way, or off my table, so that I can start concentrating on this kind of work. Well, welcome back. It's Thursday evening. Didn't get a lot done on the ship today. Well, that's not true. I got quite a bit done on the decal side of it, but waited for my new tool to arrive in the mail, and here it is. It is the Proxxon. It's a multi-tool. It's a transformer, and it's got a tiny jigsaw attachment for it. That's going to allow me to do some more scratch building, and more importantly to cut out the area here where you see the big holes. And secondly is a Dremel substitute. It'll allow me more finer, this is the Dremel, or the rotary tool attachment, and it'll allow me to do finer control over the speed of the speed of the bit, or the sanding or the grinding. There's a big control here for speed, and then a secondary control on the handle itself. So that's going to allow me to have finer, like I said, finer control over the grinding and the sanding. So I was waiting for those to come in, and most importantly, so I could cut into this. Now I have already done a small segment here. I used the jigsaw to cut out in between the holes, and then I packed that area with the Fun Recall light curing putty, the thicker stuff, not the stuff that came from Frozen, and hit it with the torch, or the LED, or the UV flashlight, just like that. And wouldn't you know, it's hard as a rock. So that's going to allow me to chew out all of this area for the phaser strip without sacrificing any structural integrity. If you just cut all that out, that only leaves it hanging by that tiny little bit, and it would just flop in the breeze. So I'm going to cut out segments and then go back and cut out the segments in between. Well, good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's Friday. It's Friday the 13th. Ooh, scary kids. Friday the 13th. It's Friday, the last work day of the week, although I doubt it. I doubt it because obviously it's going to be the last day of the video. But I'll probably continue to work on this through the weekend because I'm getting to a point where I need to keep going. I just can't rest on my laurels, no matter how sweet they may smell, because time is a ticking by on this build, and I need to keep up to the pace, with, most notably with Phil, who's running rings around me. I need to be able to feed him the parts that he needs. So to do that, I kind of have to develop them as I'm going on my build, which means I need to keep going. Now, last night when I got back from dinner, I did this part, which went really easily and very quickly, but I realized maybe I went a little too quick on it, so I'm going to do the top saucer today, but I'm going to take a little bit longer time to do it. It's dried in overnight and everything is wonderful and happy and good. But I think I could do a neater job and a cleaner job if I held off and did it a little bit slower. What this is, and now you can see it, I have chewed out the phaser strip and replaced it with the, so you can see there you go. You can see where the phaser strip is gone, and I have replaced it with the Fun Recall putty. And then I will put the applique piece, or the phaser piece that comes in the kit, will go on top of that. But this is going to allow the phaser effect lighting from underneath to shine out through it. So I was hoping to sit this out in the sun today to do some more baking on this UV, but as I said, it's Friday the 13th. It's cold, it's wet, it's rainy. Not cold, but it's getting to the point where the mornings are kind of chilly, and there's a nip in the air, as they say. But it is it's overcast and rainy this morning, so I doubt I'm going to get any assist from our local star to work on the UV-ness of this to solidify it even more. But that's the outside. This is the in. You can see it a lot easier what's going on the inside. You can see the difference in the material there. Okay, while I had a minute with the desk cleared off of no model parts, I figured I would show you off the latest addition, and that is I went out and got a set of computer speakers to go in, rather than using the puny little speaker that comes with the kit, or comes with the board. There's a jack here to allow you to plug in an amplified set of speakers, and this is what happens when you use an amplified set of speakers. That's much better. That's what you call bang for your buck. And I will, let's see, this is the one. Now it's going to take a second for it to kick in, but you get a much better, you got certainly much more bass, but you get a much better sound quality out of these speakers. And I can set these on either side of the ship on the nice bass, and it'll blend right in. I can lay them on the side if I need to. I can lay them down like that. But listen,
the final frontier.
That is so much better, and that's not even at the top of the volume.
Voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
I can turn it down a little bit if I'm in a show setting where you don't want it to be really loud. You can turn it way down.
New life and new
turn it up, adjust the bass. Yeah, just a much better setup than using the little speaker. And here comes the music. And that's all I'm going to play because I don't want to get the copyright strike. But then you get a torpedo, and I still have the little light hooked up to it, so you get the effect. Nice. Okay, let's put all this away and get the top saucer out. Okay, just a short little primer. I'm not going to show this every time I do it, but I wanted to give you an idea of the procedure. What I've done is I've taken the saw and simply cut between the holes here, trying to keep them in line with the next hole down the line, that kind of stuff. And I'm only doing about this much at a time. I don't want to jeopardize the structural integrity, so I'm kind of taking away material and putting back material as I go. And then I use the other tool, which is the grinder, and I am neatening up this edge, you know, because when you cut it, it can be a little bit jagged. This is going to be covered with that clear phaser strip anyway, so I just have to get a nice semi-uniform hole there. And then basically what I do is I just jam the putty into it, and I'll do that and I'll come back and show you how that looks. Alright, so I've just taken the gap there and filled it in with the light curing putty, getting low on my first can. I'm glad I ordered 2. This is all really I've got left to do, and if I've got the whole bottom saucer plus everything else I've done on the ship so far out of 1 can, I think I'm going to be in good shape to finish this with the remainder and then the second can. But basically I put some clear tape, packing tape, nothing special, nothing fancy, on the underside to, you know, give it a stop so that it doesn't keep going all the way through. And then I'm just pushing it into the gully there and letting it act like a bandage, to quote the good doctor. Just trowel it into the open wound and let it act like a bandage. And then hit it with the UV light. I really wish I had a bigger UV light at this point. I almost wish I had like an overhead lamp. I'm using this so much. I'm wondering about the old black lights from the 70s, whether they would do the same job. Spent so much time in the 70s under black lights, I didn't know I would be using them as a tool later in life, so that's interesting. Now, when I was cleaning out the trench there, and I didn't want it to be completely uniform because I like these little grooves and whatnot, because that helps key in the putty and give it some place to stick to. If it was just a simple trench, it might have a tendency to shrink and fall out, or, you know, take damage or whatever. But anytime I can get a little key in there, it helps to lock it into the edge. Now what I'm going to do is, I've done this on the top while I'm talking, and I'm just going to run it from the underside. Here you may see there's the tape and the bit that I've put on there. What I'm going to do is just run this over here, just so that I can, well, I'll sit it down here while I'm talking. I can move this back and forth over the clear tape, and it'll help cure this side of the block. I'm just moving that around. Now I'm being very careful how I handle, and there goes the phone. Be right back. Okay, the nasty telemarketer has gone away. I've just been running this over the inside while that was happening, and now I can peel this tape off. You know, I think I'm going to leave it. I'll leave it for right now. What I want to avoid doing is flexing this saucer too much. So that will give that more time for that to set up. This piece has been done here now. So I think what I'd like to do is skip a segment about that big and go over here. So if I did this segment this big, skip over a segment that big, and then start here. That way I'm maximizing my structural integrity, and I will get the saw back out and cut again. I have decided, at least for the time being, something I should have maybe done on the lower saucer that I didn't here. So I think I'm going to leave this and this. I'm going to leave them not cut out. We'll see if the lighting is going to demand that I cut that out. But I like having that little bit of structure there. So maybe I'll leave a couple that, you know, just maybe in the 4 quadrants here, just to have more strength to the ship. Alrighty, so I'm halfway done. I've got, and I've let it sit for a while. I took a bit of a lunch break. I've got half of the segments taken out and the other half in. So I'm going to start back again with the oldest ones, which is this one. So I'm going to go ahead and take out this section, and then we'll paste put the new Fun Recall in the middle there. Since I have clean run out of my first tin, I can start with this one, and then I'll work my way back around to the spots that I'm missing. Now I'm going to keep this one open. No, that's not it. That's not what I was. No, I was going to keep. Yeah, see, I got to remember. That's why I'm writing this stuff down. I'm keeping this one open, and I'm keeping this one open. I'm not going to cut through those. I'm going to keep those supports in place. So I can go ahead and do this one next, and then work my way to the last of them. Alrighty, the top is done. Well, the channel has been cut out for the phaser strip. The channel has been packed in with the Fun Recall light UV putty and cured up and all of that. And let me see if I can do this with a light behind it so you can see. Well, let's get the light up there. You can see the 4 quadrants there where I left a piece of it. Actually, it's easier to see here. Where I left the saucer material in place. And we're gonna. I wish the sun were shining. I would take this outside for a little bit more curing on the UV, but we got no UV out there today. I've got well, I've got a lot of things to consider in here. I have not done anything on the dome of the bridge, and I've not done anything for the VIP windows. I know the VIP windows are a popular subject online, and I haven't quite decided how I'm going to address those. I will probably use the putty and just fill them in. I need to block these guys off because those aren't supposed to be see-through. And still the major question about the shuttle bay. But we're going to set this to the side because I think we've got something big and fun in store for the rest of the afternoon. Well, that's going to do it for this week now. I'm not going to lie to you. I was hoping to have something a lot more showy and flashy to end the week with. I'm still convinced it's the right idea. It's just the implementation of it is taking a lot longer than I thought. I don't want to spoil it yet because when it works, and I feel it's going to work, it's going to be neat. And if it doesn't work, then I don't want to be embarrassed by hyping it and then not being able to deliver, so to speak. So for right now, it'll be an unknown mystery for those. Now, see here, you've got you can see where the light's coming through all of these holes. That's a beautiful thing. That's what we got done mostly this week. We got all of these windows sealed up, and we've got the phaser trenches cut out and sealed up with the putty and the gel. Did a lot of work on the decals, and of course you remember hearing the sounds from the sound effect board. So baby steps. It's getting there, and I think once everything starts being simpatico with each other, we are going to be moving along pretty quickly. So next week I'll be back on this. I'm not going to take another break. I need to be probably working on this through the weekend and into next week. So until we meet again, till you come back for the next thrilling chapter, y'all be safe out there. Be good to each other. Be nice. Doesn't take anything to be nice. Sometimes it takes a lot for me to be nice, but be nice to each other. Be good. Be excellent to each other. Be safe. Be smart. You know, the usual. Be back next week.